feel like the response to the guys out there?
Yeah, they've been fine.
Emotionally.
Yeah, I think that their practice habits and routine has been very consistent. I mean, from fall camp to NC State week to Florida week to, it's been pretty consistent. This team's been like this all year, so doesn't mean we're not all hurting a little bit, but we got to dust it off and get a little confidence going.
Is that something you have to be careful not to overanalyze, and not to go, oh, they're not as loud today, they're not as boisterous today?
Well, every team's different, you know. So this team's been pretty consistent in its practice habits. So whether we play well or not, you know, the practice has been good. Our biggest thing is, you know, on game day.
This is the second straight year you've gone through one of these 4-game stretches. You're playing ranked teams just about every week. How much of a physical, is it more of a physical grind, more of a mental grind? Just how difficult is it to go through?
Well, the hardest part is when you don't win. And yeah, it's tough physically, it's tough mentally, emotionally, but that's life in the SEC, and everybody goes through some stretches. And I think the toughest thing is, you know, your energy and your spirit's a little bit better when you can get a W on them, and we haven't been able to do that yet.
I mean, South Carolina's had some W's during this stretch, but they've gone through a similar thing. Georgia, Florida, LSU right in a row. Can that help that you're kind of both going through this grind?
I don't know. I can't speak for them, but I think it's a great example of, you know, when you hit those games back to back. South Carolina's a great football team, and you know, they played 3 good ones in a row, and they strapped Georgia pretty good, and they had LSU beat, didn't pull it out, and then made a bunch of mistakes against Florida. You know, and that's what happens when you play these good teams.
How often do you think, why can't some of these games be spread out a little bit more? I mean, I imagine you do going into the offseason.
I'm not in charge of the scheduling, so you'll have to ask Commissioner Slive about that.
With CP, I know he had to fumble on when he was at running back. Did you still try and put him back there to?
Well, we're trying to create ways to get him the ball. You know, we didn't anticipate him dropping the toss sweep.
You guys tell him on kickoffs, I mean, you kind of let him, even if he's 5 yards deep, take it out, or you have to range?
No, we have some parameters that we go through, and you know, I'm sure that teams are going to start kicking away from him, and you know, we were doing some things back there to try to read the kicker, and we were pretty successful in getting him the ball last week. I was a little concerned going into last week, and so we try to give them some indicators back there and read it on the run to get the ball in his hands.
Do you maybe relax some of those parameters given what he's kind of been able to do the last 2 weeks?
No, but he's been doing this all year, so the parameters hadn't changed.
As a receiver,
we bring it out.
As a receiver, is he progressing at a good rate?
Well, this will be an important week for him to progress, you know, because these guys have probably the most disruptive front four in the league, especially from a pass rush standpoint. And so your routes have to be fast and clean so the quarterback can get rid of it. And if it's not, you know, it's either an interception or a sack.
Derek, can you talk a little bit about Alex Bullard, what he's done to kind of position himself to step in for Zach?
Well, he's, you know, of course, he's played every game, he and Marcus. And I've said it all year that we kind of felt like we had 7 starters. So you never want one of your 5 to go down, but we have a lot of confidence in him and Marcus to play that right guard spot.
Derek, how beneficial is it that you guys have been committed to rotating those guys in throughout the season?
No question. You know, and that's important to have depth because you're always going to have injuries. You know, I say it a lot. You get a lot of depth and guys playing a lot. You don't miss a beat. And we're there in a lot of positions, but we're not even close to there in some, and it's hurt us. You know, you look at the secondary, hurt us a little bit, losing a guy, linebacker.
Let's talk about Shaw being able to keep plays alive, make plays downfield when he's outside the pocket.
Mm-hmm. He's made a lot of explosive scrambling, and you can tell they work a lot on when he breaks the pocket. All the receivers, they take off. It's like a new play. I mean, it's like they get to run 2 plays. So you cover him pretty good, and then he scrambles, and then there's a whole new play that you got to go play. So the best way to avoid that is keep him in the pocket.
So, what was the response from Barry Harris more snaps this week?
Yeah, he's doing good.
What
was the response from guys like Bullard and Marcus Jackson when they found out maybe they weren't going to be started? Because those are guys who would probably be good enough to start at a lot of places. I imagine they both wanted to start this season, and then when they found out they'd be rotating in.
Yeah, you mean early in the year?
Yes.
Yeah, you know, because they were competing and doing well, but I mean that's the nature of competition and being on a good team. And you know, I hope. And we told them, look, you play well, you're going to play. So guys handle competition differently. You know, the good competitors, when things don't go their way, they keep working at it, and good things come to them. And then the ones that aren't good competitors, you know, they want to take their ball and go home.
You kind of specifically seemed to challenge Tyler and Justin yesterday. How did they respond today on the practice field?
They were good. I mean, they had a good attitude, and they worked really hard. And, of course, the key is game day. Let's go out there and perform to our abilities. And so, you know, we got to get Justin's. You know, he had a great swagger coming into the year, and we got to get that back. And Tyler's got to maintain the confidence that he has during games without making plays that can really hurt the team. You know, and I mean, I think with Tyler, you know, so much is getting talked about with Tyler and me, and you know, I was pretty tough on Tyler after the Georgia game, not publicly, but I was. And he went in the Mississippi State game and really did a nice job. I mean, he had the one interception, which really wasn't his fault. It was in the half. He threw it up. CP, we're just trying to make a play, and then he took us down for a drive with 5 minutes to go and scored. And so I really was proud of how he performed there. And but you know, in this game he kind of went back, made a couple mistakes. So it isn't like I've been sitting there saying you're okay, you're good. You know, we address his issues every week, and then he shows progress. Just like we addressed the issue at the Florida game, and he hadn't really, you know, reverted back to what happened in Florida yet. He showed progress from that. Now we just got to maintain the progress on securing the football. That's the biggest thing.
Between his toe and his shoulder, can you give us an idea of what Kirkland is going through right now?
Well, he goes back and forth. He played about 62 snaps, so that's a lot of ball. And if we can get that out of him, we're lucky.
How did Marlon Lane handle his opportunity?
Did a nice job. Yeah, he did a nice job. Ran the ball well. Had over 100 yards of offense against Bama. You know, that's not many guys can sit there and say I had 100-something yards on Bama, who's not a quarterback. Pretty good effort.
Do you expect Rajon to start Saturday?
I don't know. He's, what do we list him as? Doubtful?
So probably.
Probable? Yeah, he's probable. He's probable. All right, man.
And nothing.